too long, her stories have been buried, and her truth edited by a world that feared her power. You're listening to Sovereign Reality with Natalie. We are here to unearth the goddess, because her story is your story, and her rise is your reclamation. This is about you, authentically and fully you, recognizing your own divinity and stepping back onto your throne. Because the world doesn't need you quiet, babe.
Boss ass bitch. Boss bitch. Boss ass.
Hey loves, welcome back. Today we're talking about Mother Mary, and not as a religious figure, so I should probably preface this episode by stating that this is not at all about doctrine. So if you were coming here expecting some religious sermon, you've come to the wrong place. We're talking about Mother Mary as an archetype of miracles, devotion, and divine creation. This is about energy, and it's about the moment something in you decides to say yes to life before you have proof how it will unfold for you, or how life will meet you. Because Mother Mary's story, when we really sit with it, is a story of participation. It's a story of trust and of the unknown being met with an open heart. And in Sanskrit spiritual traditions, particularly in the Upanishadic and yogic textual lineage, there is a concept that speaks to this inner orientation of trust and openness. And it's called Śraddhā. Śraddhā is often understood as a deep inner trust. It's a steady quality of the heart that allows a person to remain open to what is unfolding, even without certainty or proof. So today we're going to explore her story through that lens, through miracle consciousness, through feminine co-creation, and through the remembering that you are not separate from what you are asking for. You are part of it. You are it in human form. So let's begin. Mary's story is a story of legal and physical autonomy. She was a woman who lived in a high-stakes occupied territory and made a series of high-level executive decisions that changed the course of her life and her community. When Mary was approached with the opportunity to carry a child, she didn't just let it happen. She engaged in a negotiation. This is Mary's story through the sovereign lens, by the way. She asked how the process would work and weighed the consequences. Her fiat, or her let it be so moment, was her formal binding consent. She acted as a sovereign individual, using her own body as a platform for a major social and spiritual shift. She was the only person in the room with the power to say yes or no, making her the primary gatekeeper of the entire event. Immediately after her decision, Mary went to the hills and delivered a speech known as the Magnificat. This was a political manifesto. She spoke about a total redistribution of power, taking it away from the wealthy and the ruling class and giving it back to the people. I feel like we're still living in these times, don't you? She wasn't acting like a quiet, submissive teenager, like certain religions would like us to believe. She was actually acting more like a resistance leader who knew exactly what kind of revolution she was starting. However, later, the men in charge of organized religion took control of her narrative, like they love to do. They focused entirely on her being a quote-unquote virgin and a quote-unquote vessel. They dressed her in blue, put her on a pedestal, and told everyone she was the model of quote-unquote perfect obedience. By turning her into a silent porcelain statue, they stripped away her intellectual agency. They made it seem like she was just a hollow container for a male god's plan rather than a woman who co-signed a contract and managed the survival of her family through a period of extreme political violence. The real Mary was a survivor and a strategist. She managed a dangerous pregnancy while traveling, survived a refugee crisis in Egypt, and stood her ground during a public execution. She was the matriarch of a movement. Her power was in her endurance and her choice, not in her being quiet or pure by a man's definition. She was a woman who claimed her own life and used it to disrupt an empire. The core of Mary's miracle message isn't about magic. It's more about creative authority. In this context, a miracle is the act of a woman deciding that the impossible is actually achievable through her own partnership with the divine, through your own partnership with the divine. It's a co-creative process. Mary's message defines a miracle as a collaborative breakthrough. She wasn't waiting for the miracle to happen to her. She authorized it. I'm going to say that one more time. She authorized it. By giving her consent, she proved that the human body and the human will are powerful enough to host a universal shift. Her message is that the greatest miracle is the moment a woman stops seeing herself as a bystander in history and starts seeing herself as the essential participant. For Mary, the miracle was the incarnation, the act of turning this spiritual idea into a physical, breathing reality. She taught that ideas are not enough. They must be given skin and bone and breath. She spent 9 months physically building a new future within her own body. That's the process. This sends a clear signal that every woman has a miraculous capacity to take a vision and labor it into existence. She shifted the definition of the miracle from a gift above into a product of internal labor. That's the message. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be a physical baby. This can be a manifestation of your own creation, whatever that may be. The problem is that the narrative was shifted to make a miracle look like something that bypassed Mary entirely. The story has always been told in such a way that suggests that God does all the work and Mary is just this passive room where it all happened. And this silencing is designed to take the creative credit away from the woman, away from the human, by focusing only on the supernatural elements, the angels, the stars. The patriarchy successfully hides the human miracle of Mary's physical endurance and intellectual choice. They make the miracle seem like a violation of nature rather than a woman using her natural power to its fullest extent. I think any one of us who has grown up around religion is familiar with Mother Mary. I've mentioned her previously on my YouTube channel because I do have a yoga practice for her, which I'll talk about at the end of this episode. But she's a very accessible goddess. Her energy is very accessible. I have always felt that anyway. I've always felt she's an easy goddess to get in touch with. She feels very warm. Her energy feels very warm and loving. And like I said, easily accessible. We don't often get to see Mother Mary. We don't often get to hear Mother Mary's voice as a sovereign woman. I think recently there was some candidate in Texas. I forget who he is exactly, but I don't really love mixing religion and politics. I think they each deserve their own lane. I think it gets really muddy and interesting when we're mixing the two. That said, I think he is like a preacher or something. But when asked about his stance on abortion, he said even Mary was given a choice. And I think that's not something a lot of religious people think about, but she was. She was given a choice. She was far more powerful than religion makes her out to be, than the patriarchy made her out to be, wrote her story out to be. I don't know if that's the right way to frame that sentence. And it feels really frustrating to grow up in a world, to grow up even in a religion. I grew up Catholic, maybe you did too. That's so male dominant, so male heavy, and women are basically second-class citizens, if that. And that's what it's deduced to. Vessels, quiet, subservient, obey, that then you're a good girl. Like, that is so sickening to me. When in actuality, she was a trailblazer. She was a leader. She was a badass, right? Fighting for her survival in this crazy time in history, riding a camel pregnant. Could you imagine? Or was it a donkey? No, it was a camel. I just like, it's crazy to think about. And then to go and have a baby in a barn, and then just, don't even get me started on these wise men who bring frankincense and myrrh, like what every newborn baby needs. Anyway, it's a topic for another time. If they were truly wise, they would have brought like cloth diapers, but okay. Sure. So it gets really, frustrating, but I'm going off on a tangent. This is why I have to keep myself on track with my notes. The bottom line is, she said yes. It was her choice to say yes. Maybe not fully understanding what she was saying yes to. Maybe feeling scared of her yes. She felt the fear maybe and did it anyway, right? She didn't fully know, but she opened her heart and she trusted that life would meet her there. Wherever there was, life was going to meet her. Which ties in, like I said at the beginning of our episode, with Śraddhā. So just a little recap. Śraddhā is a Sanskrit concept that appears throughout the spiritual literature of India, especially in the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. In the Upanishadic tradition, Śraddhā is described as the inner condition required for wisdom to be received. It is not intellectual belief, and it's not blind faith. It's more of a kind of inner steadiness and a willingness of the heart to trust reality, even when reality has not yet revealed its shape. In the Bhagavad Gita, Śraddhā becomes even more intimate. Krishna speaks of how a person's Śraddhā shapes the direction of their life, how the quality of one's inner trust determines the kind of reality they experience. It is said that a person is what their Śraddhā is made of. In other words, Śraddhā is not passive belief. It is creative orientation. It is the inner alignment that says I'm willing to meet life where it is going, not only where it has been. And so this is where Mother Mary enters the teaching, because her yes wasn't just a moment in scripture. It's the embodiment of Śraddhā in motion. She did not ask for proof first, and she didn't ask or demand for certainty before she said yes. There weren't any guarantees before she opened her heart. She entered the relationship with the unknown itself. And in yogic language, that is what allows transformation to occur. In this lens, miracles are not external interruptions of reality. They're more like what happens when consciousness stops resisting what is being asked to become. Miracles are something we consent to, and that consent is Śraddhā. So I could go on and on here about my personal experience with Mother Mary and these big moments of miracles and trusting life and all of these things, but I'm not, for the sake of keeping this episode somewhat short, I'm going to just give you a little something here. So Mother Mary, to me, she's very much like A Course in Miracles as well. So A Course in Miracles teaches about the concept of a miracle being just simply almost like a perspective shift. It's usually something that simple. Of course, miracles can be something much bigger as well, right? But a lot of times when Mother Mary comes out in my goddess cards, I always get excited because I'm always like, yay, miracles. I love miracles. And I know Gabby Bernstein, she's another spiritual teacher out there. She does a lot with A Course in Miracles, and she does a lot with miracles in general. And she always has different things that you can do. But one of the things that she always says, and I like this as well, and I've adopted it as my own, so take it or leave it, but is, I'm open to receiving a miracle today. How perfect is that, right? So maybe you want to take that on as well. It's not mine. Like I said, I heard it from her. So that's where I grabbed it. Maybe she heard it from someone else. I don't know, but that's what I love saying. I'm open to receiving a miracle today, especially when times are like really, really hard. and you're just like really going through it, saying something like that it can be really, really helpful. And you might be shocked at how quickly you feel different. Mother Mary herself, aside from when she comes out in my cards, she surprised me a lot. I really disconnected from religion when I started waking up on my spiritual path. I mean, I disconnected from religion well before then, but especially when I started waking up. And I remember starting my Reiki practice and doing Reiki on people. And all of a sudden I would see in my mind's eye, sometimes certain deities will come through and Mother Mary would show up, or Mother Mary and Jesus sometimes. And I would just be like, what are you guys doing here? And it took me so long to disconnect Mother Mary and Jesus from religion, because religion just ruined them so much. They ruined everything about them and their teachings for me. And now as a metaphysician, now that I understand what Jesus was actually teaching, now that I understand even what Mother Mary was, what they were all teaching, which is very liberal, by the way, in nature, very spiritual. The kingdom is within you. All of these things, and how religion just twisted everything, all of it. It's shocking. But it took me a very long time to create new neural pathways in my brain again around that. And then I was able to start working with Mother Mary in a different capacity. So if you have religious trauma and religious wounding, Mother Mary might be a sore spot for you. I'm hopeful she's not. Maybe she might be the only deity that you feel like you might be able to connect with, because she is so soft and she is so quiet in religion. She's very quiet. She doesn't, in my mind, she didn't really have a voice. And if that is not something you're ready to get into, I don't blame you. But sometimes it's simple. It's as simple as just saying what Gabby Bernstein does, I'm open to receiving a miracle, because miracles are your birthright. You are the universe in human form. It is your birthright. You are creating your reality. You are the ultimate creator, creatrix of your reality. And so tying that in with Śraddhā, well, it can be really tricky to trust. I think that there has to be some discernment. There has to be a level of discernment going on within you. I feel like for me, when it came to the biggest risk that I took, open-hearted risk that I took, was in regard to my twin flame. That was probably the biggest one I think I've ever just completely followed my heart. My heart there was no getting around it. I couldn't say no to it. There was something that I just knew it was never going to not be a no. I know that was a complete, so if I want to put that in a positive framework, it was always going to be a yes for me when it came to him. I had to do it. There was never going to be another way for me. God will reach you however God needs to reach you, and God reached me through my heart. If I would have said no, that would have been me turning away from God, from my own awakening, from Goddess, from all of it, from my soul. I couldn't do it. So that was probably my biggest Śraddhā moment, I would say, just trusting, I don't know, saying yes. And then it was just that willingness to trust my heart, and reality had not taken shape in any way, shape, or form. And even hindsight, I've had moments where I'm like, do I regret that decision? Of course I've had moments where I'm like, yes. But mostly, no, I don't. I mean, we don't even speak anymore. But I'm glad that I did what I did, because I never would have met me and all of that. And I don't know, I think I'm pretty cool. So, I mean, I think I am. You guys might not feel that way. He doesn't think so. It's fine. I'm fine with it. But, I think it all taught me a lot, of course. But I also think now I'm in a place where I'm understanding that I may not ever experience anything like that again. But I think I will be met with other circumstances where I might have to use a bit more discernment. right? And know that maybe there might be times again where I participate in that. I don't know if it's like a verb, Śraddhā, like if it's a verb in that way, or if it's more of just like, I know it's not passive per se, because there is an active participation to a degree, but it's a yes. You have to use some discernment, I suppose, in some cases. So I don't know, listener. What does Śraddhā look like off the mat for you? What might it look like? It could look like trusting when fear wants you to contract. It can look like perspective shifts instead of clinging to your certainty. I'm picturing the Hanged Man tarot card in my mind's eye. It's that tarot card that I always see. It's remembering that possibility exists beyond what you can currently see. Our guides, our angels, our goddesses, all of these beautiful deities have the bird's eye view that we don't have. We're so limited in our vision. Our higher selves see things we don't see. And we often forget as humans that we do come here to learn. And I know I don't always find it comfortable. If we're going to go back to that energy of tapas, Sedna's episode, right? Some of my biggest and best transformations have come through discomfort. And that does involve being able to trust that there's possibility beyond what I can see here. And sometimes it involves participating in life instead of bracing against it, or saying yes in small daily ways to becoming something new, becoming someone new. Śraddhā is quiet, steady, and very much alive. And it is the part of you that doesn't abandon possibility. So if Mother Mary teaches us anything, it is this: miracles are not rare. They're only rare when you stop believing in them, when you don't believe they're possible for you, when you forget that they are your birthright. They happen in the space where you meet life with an open heart and say, even if your voice shakes, yes. So if you want to work with this energy of miracles and maybe even the disbelief that they're possible for you, have a little perspective shift of your own, but take it on to a somatic level, you can come over to my YouTube channel. Of course, if you're listening on YouTube, then you're already here. And you can find the practice within my channel. However, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, or even here on my website, the video is linked in the show notes. And I'd love to see you over there. So it is Mother Mary's miracle practice. It's a yin yoga practice. And it is more so focused on like a Course in Miracles teachings. Of course, I don't get into the full Course in Miracles teachings. That would be one heck of a practice. Could you imagine? We would be there 4 hours. So anyway, yes, I'd love to see you over there. A little fascia release, a little bit of mindset shift. We get into meridians. It's a whole thing. But yes, that is over there waiting for you. And I'd love to see you over there. And of course, if you're not on my email list yet, come join me every month. We honor a different goddess with a ritual that you can do at home, an energetic snapshot of the astrology shaping the month, and an exclusive subliminal crafted specifically for that goddess's frequency. It's always free, it's always sacred, and it keeps you connected to the living feminine current. And that email goes out once a month on the 10th, by the way. So if you are currently already on my email list and you're not seeing that come in on the 10th, please be sure to check your spam folder. I'm signed up for my newsletter just to make sure I'm receiving it. And I wasn't getting it for a while. And I was like, what's going on here? Turns out Gmail was just like, well, this is a pile of shit. It's going right in the junk folder. So I had to tell Gmail that it was not a pile of shit. And actually it's really good. So anyway, please make sure you're checking your spam folder as well. Again, it goes out every month on the 10th, like clockwork. I never forget, 8 a.m. on the 10th every month. And then I don't ever send anything more than that, except when you first sign up. You do get a series of 4 emails from me for 7 days for that first week, just because I share some things, and then that's it, just once a month on the 10th after that. So that's all, I promise. I'm not crazy. I'm not gonna spam you. Anyway, We have one more episode of this season. Can you believe it? This went by super, super fast, as always. Next week, we are going to be talking about Mother Mary. Yeah, we're going to talk about Mother Mary again. No, we're going to talk about Mary Magdalene. Cannot wait to talk about her. And then I have a special announcement at the end of next week's episode. So I cannot wait to share her story with you and share what's on the horizon for Sovereign Reality and, of course, the Sanctuary as well. So until next time, stay sovereign.
Boss ass bitch.
Thank you for walking with me today. Remember, the goddess isn't a myth you're learning. She is a power you are remembering. So go out into the world today and take up your space. Don't filter your truth and don't apologize for who you are. I'm Natalie, and this is Sovereign Reality. Be bold and be authentically and fully you, because the world doesn't need you quiet, babe.